Welcome back, guys. This is your boy Arrows with AOV Gaming. Today, again, we are going to be touching base on tips and tricks for Manor Lords. Now, as you guys can already see, I went ahead and I built more houses around my marketplace. Now, something I realized and I found out is that only the houses that are relatively connected to the general area, so these four here, and then this one, actually not that one, just these four here, actually resemble all the entities that need to be covered. So eventually what's going to need to be happening is I'm going to need to make more marketplaces for these houses on the outside to cover them down to make them level 2. You see I have my military made, and it's only 18 militiamen out of the 20 that I have available resources. And that was because I have the notification pop up, which it's not showing now, of bandits nearby, and then there's a raider mission that's going to happen. I don't know if they have come or if the raiders have, disappeared, but that's one entity covered there. Then, as you can see, I also went ahead and I made a saw pit. Now, what I first did is I covered all the spaces here, and then I manned my granary and my storehouse. That way they had entities that needed to be covered there. And then I went ahead and built my saw pit. Now the saw pit is here and being made because I need to be able to go ahead and come into residential and make a chapel. Now the requirements for the chapel, as you guys can see, is that you need 10 stone, 20 planks, and 5 timber. Now this, along with everything else in here, all needs somebody to man that area. Now the chapel, it doesn't really necessarily, it does, but it doesn't necessarily determine where you put it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chapel there, and it should be able to affect everybody here in this general vicinity. The only thing that I'm going to need to work on is making a possible marketplace back here and a marketplace over here to touch these houses. I'm going to go ahead and disband my military for now because I don't know what happened to those bandits. But also what happened in the in-between last video and this video is we got our first point for development. Now, there's a couple different ways you guys can go down this road. One of them is the trade logistics route, and that's where you build a trade post, and then you get 50% off on all trade routes. Now, if you're going to do that, you're going to come into these burger plots, and you're going to go ahead and select Go Shed. This is going to give you hides, along with the hides that you get from hunting. This allows you to be able to produce money. I think it's like 4 gold for regional wealth that allows you to build more onto your burger plots. Now, it's a good starting way to do it. You could also go ahead and do your foreign supplies, which is kind of hit and miss. I've never had really good luck with it. You could do your heavy plow. Now, that's all determining whether or not you're going to actually go ahead and build a farm plot right off in the beginning. I do recommend kind of holding off on building your farm plot. That way it gives you more time to actually be able to build your resources. You have the sheep breeding and your orchard. Orchard is good, but at the same time, it takes 3 years to grow. Trapping is good. It helps with the meat, and it's a passive way to get it. And then you have your berry, which is doubles the capacity of the berry deposit. And you have beekeeping, which I've never actually messed with beekeeping. So this is kind of a new way that if you guys want to try it, go ahead and try it. But I'm going to go ahead and go do the passive for trapping, and then I'll probably come in and do the other aspect of trade logistics later on. So I have my chapel being built. I'm going to go ahead and speed up time, get that going. I have 3 unassigned personnel that I can use. Later on, we are going to come in here and we're going to do the iron deposit. Now, on the mode that I'm playing, there is no other king or queen here. It's just strictly the outlaws, which is the bandits. And actually, that reminds me of the bandits are right there. So I need to go ahead and deploy my military as fast as I can, because now I know where the bandits are, and I'm going to go ahead and attack them. Now, one thing that you want to look at is when the bandits are deployed. So they have a bandit camp over here. I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to come collect their bandit camp. And this is because it's going to give me influence, and it's going to give me king's favor, and it's going to give me gold. I recommend putting your troops on stand your ground because it does give them a better ability of fighting against these people. Now, I did build my military a little late. You can build it early on, or you could build it later on down the road. All just depends on how you want to deal with it. Now, see, I already completely wiped out them. I only lost one person, which is actually really great for me. And now I'm going to come and take their camp. It says attack it, but I don't think it's actually attacking unless there's actual personnel there. So then we'll find out as it comes on. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have them going to do that, I'll get a notification, it'll pop up here if something happens. I guess there are people there because they just stole resources, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build my tavern. Now the tavern is another vital part of your building of the community. Again, I don't think it really matters where it's at because it should be able to touch the rest of the resources. I have food stall there, so now they're actually getting touched with the food stall aspect. It should pop up later on. I'm going to come check on these guys, make sure they're still good. I take it I ran into some people because I ended up losing some more troops. So I had 20, it got down to 14, so I lost a couple of them. Now you do have a chance of sending your resources to the nearest town, or it's saying that the treasure belongs to you. Saying that the treasure belongs to you brings you the 178, 680 influence, and then King's Favor is used as diplomatic purpose. So that's actually when it comes down to when you're fighting another entity. But now, because we have 680 influence and we have 178 treasure, we can actually come in here and we can go to administrative. You can build if you have enough stone, which I do not. I actually ran out of stone, so I'm going to have to build stone here in a little bit. Your manor. Now, the manor is important because it allows you to put a tax, which allows you to have more treasury. The treasury allows you to actually come in and upgrade your troops. Now, there's two ways of upgrading your troops, which I'll get to once I get that up and running. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to build my stone. So I'm going to go to mining, I'm going to go to stone camp, and I'm going to bring it over here and just place it down. Now the stone camp works only for the stone, and the mining works for iron ore and clay deposits. Now I do have an iron deposit right over by my berries, and I do have a clay deposit over by my stone. They do end up disappearing later on depending on how much resource of it you do end up taking. Now, you don't really have a say in how much resource you get to take and how much resource you don't get to take, so that's something that's vital to keep in mind and be weary of. So now that I got my church up and running, I'm going to go ahead and drop a person in there. Now, there's two different ways of the bell. You can say church bell sound, which is that... Oh, sorry. Yeah, the bell sound doesn't mean anything. My bad. I thought at one point in the game they had it where different noises of the bell would mean stuff. So I have family still moving in. I have 60% rating in goodness, and I still have 169 food, and I have 66 fuel. So as of right now, I have a total of 8 months before I run out of fuel. So if you want, and if you're worried, you can come in here, you can go to logging camp, and you can add more people. Now, one thing, or not logging camp, the Wooders Cutter Lodge, and add more people. One thing to be wary of is how much of your tree resources you're actually using and how much further you have to go back. The further you have to go, the better to have an animal there that it is. I'm going to try to go ahead and get this up and going. That way I can show you guys what I was talking about with the manor. I'm going to go ahead and disable my unit. When you disable your unit, you still keep it. It does not get rid of it. Low, when you do lose a troop, if you hit tab, it'll show you what you're missing because of the people dying. And when you lose somebody or that, it does kind of hurt. So now the tavern is almost being built, so that's good to go. I have 4 people that are unassigned. Hopefully we can get this up and running sooner. And I'm going to go ahead and drop another person in the Woodcutter Lodge for now. And then I'm going to drop somebody in the Stonecutter Camp, and then I'm going to take him out, and I'm going to drop him into the tavern. Now, if you look at it, the only thing that I'm missing is the clothing stall, which is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down myself from the industry aspect. And the clothing stall is the weaver's workshop that produces the wool, the yarn, and the flax and the linen that you need. Now, again, placing them, it does kind of vary, and it kind of is important on where you place them, though it's not going to hurt if you don't place it directly. You just need it where it can affect with the stalls. So I have a forward stall, I have two of them actually, and I have a food stall, and then I have another food stall over here. That allows me to have the water access, the church access. The food stall should end up going up where it has enough into the type food in there, and then it should also have enough fuel once the fuel ends up going. They'll end up dropping the clothing stall in here in a little bit, and then we'll go there or go from there and build up. Now I do have my stonecutter camp built, so I'm going to drop somebody into my stonecutter camp. I still have 2 people in my lodge or woodcutter, and now I'm waiting for the tavern. This is all vitally important to get it going and build up. That way you can again get these guys to a level 2 plot, which then allows you access to these. These allow you to build weapons, armor, clothing, shields, and weapons. So this is weapons, this is armor or shield, this is armor, this is clothing, and this is bows. This also allows with like cloaks and stuff, and then depending on if you have a farm or not, allows you to have a bakery extension and then the brewing extension. Now, in order for the tavern, you do eventually will have to build a farm. So I'm going to also plop that down, but you want to look at the emmer fertility. So my farming area that I'm really good at is over here and over here in my wood area. Now I want to avoid the wood area as much as possible. So I'm going to actually drop my farmhouse over here. Hold on, I gotta find it. I'm gonna drop my farmhouse right here. That way it's not in a fertility area, but then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my field, and I'm gonna make it right in as much as the fertile land as possible. Now, I do recommend building a couple different fields, because the reason for this is the more fields you have, the more the ability of rotating crops you have. Rotating crops is a very vital part of this. And yes, you are going to have to, again, put somebody in your farmhouse. Now, how many people you have in the farmhouse is not really affected by anything. It's just, hey, you got people here, this is going to help, and this is going to help with food. Now, yes, I did kind of go overboard with the fields, but if you can look at it, I have 90% wheat, so I'm going to go ahead and go to crop rotation. I'm going to keep it on fallow, then I'm going to go ahead and go with wheat again. Now I'm going to go here, I'm going to look at it, I have 62% barley, so I'm going to go barley first, fallow, then I'm going to go wheat again. Then I'm going to go here, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to go flax, and then I'm going to go crop rotation, keep the fallow, and I'm going to go barley again. Now I have a wheat field, I have a wheat and barley field, I have a barley and flax field, and then here I'm going to go again with the wheat, crop rotation, fallow, wheat, and then I'm going to come into this field here again with the crop rotation, go to barley, and then go to flax. That way I have 3 prominent fields with wheat, and then I have 3 fields roughly with everything else that I need inside of it. This is going to help you with your other resources that you need over here. So the weaver shop, you actually do need, if you come back into the industry, you look at it, you need the flaxseed from it, and then for the tavern, you need the barley in order to make the ale. Stonecutter camp is going. I have stone, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build my manor. It says the requirement level, settlement level is a small village. We have a small village, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Now, wherever you put this, it doesn't really matter necessarily where you put it, but I kind of try to keep it away from the main settlement point because it has nothing to do with the main settlement. Now you can build walls and gates. You could build the outer tower that provides 10 garrison space. Garrison units and villagers shoot projectiles approaching enemies. Or that's the outer tower, sorry. And then you can do a garrison tower. This increases the retinue size by 12 and limited by 1 per region. And then you can also do a tax office. The tax office is important because this allows you to provide a tax to your citizens. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop a tax office right here. And then I'm going to come in with that and I'm going to build a garrison tower. Now, these do allow you to have a different region of building, and it allows you to increase and decrease on where you build. So again, I'm going to go ahead and build that, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a outer tower as well, and I'm going to place it just by our garrison tower, and then I'm going to go ahead and commit. Now, all these are going to be built, and then I still have enough resources left over for everything else that I need. In the next video, I will show you guys the tax and the unit off of this, and then I will show you the field aspect of it later on. I now have a 77% increase on my persons, and that is good. If this video was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let me know what I can and cannot do to change, make things better. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great day.